For years, the British royal family has carefully controlled the stories the public hears, presenting a polished image of unity and tradition. But every palace has its secrets, and sometimes those secrets remain hidden until the perfect moment arrives. Imagine waiting nearly 3 decades for a single decision, one quiet act capable of reopening old wounds, reshaping family loyalties, and reminding the monarchy that some memories can never truly be erased. According to recent claims circulating online, Prince William finally made a move that many believe was decades in the making, one that allegedly stunned those inside Windsor and reignited one of the royal family's longest-running controversies. At the center of this story stands the enduring legacy of Princess Diana, a woman whose influence has never faded despite the years since her passing. Whether every detail is accurate or not, the emotional impact of these reports has captured worldwide attention. What supposedly happened behind palace walls was not simply about moving a portrait from one room to another. It symbolized respect, remembrance, and the ongoing struggle over how history should remember one of the most beloved figures the monarchy has ever known. And if the reports are true, the consequences reached much further than anyone expected. Princess Diana's connection with the British public was unlike anything the monarchy had experienced in modern history. She was admired not only for her elegance, but for her ability to connect with ordinary people in ways that felt genuine and deeply personal. Hospitals, charities, schools, and communities across the world welcomed her because she carried compassion wherever she went. During the height of her popularity, a distinguished portrait was created to celebrate both her role within the royal family and her remarkable public image. Those who reportedly witnessed the portrait's completion recalled that Diana quietly admired it for several moments, believing it reflected not only her appearance, but also her spirit. The painting was allegedly intended to become part of an important royal collection displayed inside Windsor Castle, where portraits of influential royal women have traditionally been exhibited. However, fate intervened before that vision could become reality. Following Diana's tragic death in 1997, plans surrounding the portrait reportedly changed dramatically. Instead of taking its intended place among the monarchy's historic figures, claims suggest it was quietly placed into storage, remaining unseen by the public for decades. Whether by circumstance or deliberate choice, its disappearance became another chapter in the complicated legacy surrounding Diana's memory inside the royal household. The days following Diana's death marked one of the most emotionally difficult periods in modern British history. Millions mourned openly across the United Kingdom and around the world, leaving flowers outside royal residences and expressing grief unlike anything previously witnessed. Yet behind palace walls, different priorities were reportedly unfolding. Various biographies and long-standing rumors have claimed that internal discussions quickly shifted toward royal protocol, property, and institutional stability rather than public emotion. Over time, additional stories emerged suggesting that many visible reminders of Diana gradually disappeared from important royal spaces. While some historians argue these decisions reflected changing royal responsibilities, others believe they contributed to the perception that Diana's place within royal history was slowly being diminished. These reports have remained controversial because official confirmation has often been limited, leaving room for speculation and competing narratives. Nevertheless, one idea has continued to resonate with royal observers: that Diana's legacy survived not because the institution preserved it, but because the public never allowed her memory to fade. Her influence remained alive through charitable work, documentaries, interviews, and the affection of millions who continued to view her as the people's princess long after her passing. For Prince William, however, Diana's legacy was never simply a matter of public history. It was deeply personal. He was only a teenager when he endured one of the most unforgettable moments ever witnessed by the world, walking behind his mother's coffin under the gaze of millions. That image became permanently etched into public memory, symbolizing unimaginable grief carried with remarkable composure. As William matured, countless books, documentaries, and royal commentators explored how those early experiences shaped his character. Unlike many public figures who respond emotionally, William earned a reputation for patience, discipline, and careful planning. Rather than reacting publicly to every headline or allegation, He often appeared focused on preserving stability while quietly protecting the causes and values his mother championed. Royal experts have frequently suggested that Diana's influence remained central to his approach toward public service, mental health initiatives, homelessness, and charitable engagement. Even when controversy surrounded the monarchy, William rarely responded with dramatic statements. Instead, he cultivated an image of calm leadership, allowing actions to speak louder than words. This reputation for restraint has led many commentators to believe that if he ever chose to make a symbolic gesture honoring Diana, it would likely be carefully considered, institutionally sound, and impossible to dismiss as an emotional reaction. According to the claims now attracting widespread attention online, that carefully calculated moment may finally have arrived. Reports suggest that William spent years ensuring every institutional procedure surrounding royal collections and historic displays was fully respected before any significant decision could be made. Supporters of this narrative argue that nothing happened suddenly. Instead, every step was allegedly planned with extraordinary patience, consultation, and respect for royal tradition. If true, the reported restoration of Diana's portrait represented far more than relocating a piece of artwork. It became a powerful statement about remembrance, legacy, and the future direction of the monarchy under the next generation. Observers interpreted the alleged decision as an effort to acknowledge Diana's lasting place within royal history, while reinforcing the values that continue to define her public image. Whether these reports ultimately prove accurate or remain part of ongoing royal speculation, one fact remains undeniable. Diana's influence continues to shape conversations nearly 3 decades after her death. Her story still inspires passionate debate, and every new claim surrounding her legacy immediately captures global attention. As this narrative unfolds, even more dramatic developments are said to emerge, bringing additional members of the royal family into a controversy that is far from over. As the years passed, the conversation surrounding Princess Diana never truly disappeared. Every documentary, biography, and anniversary revived questions about her place within royal history and whether her legacy had received the recognition it deserved. While the public continued celebrating her compassion and humanitarian work, discussions behind palace gates reportedly remained far more complicated. According to long-standing royal speculation, Prince William never viewed these debates as political battles, but as deeply personal matters tied to his mother's memory. Rather than responding emotionally, he is said to have focused on understanding the traditions and constitutional procedures that govern royal collections and historical displays. Royal commentators have often described William as someone who believes lasting change comes through careful planning instead of public confrontation. If the recent reports are to be believed, every consultation, every historical record, and every institutional guideline was reviewed long before any action was taken. Nothing was allegedly rushed or left vulnerable to challenge. Supporters argue this reflected William's leadership style: quiet, disciplined, and strategic. Instead of creating headlines through dramatic speeches, he reportedly allowed preparation itself to become his greatest strength, ensuring that when the time finally came, every decision could stand firmly within royal tradition while carrying enormous symbolic significance. Another figure frequently mentioned in discussions surrounding these claims is Princess Anne, whose reputation within the royal family has long been associated with loyalty, duty, and remarkable independence. Throughout her decades of public service, Anne earned respect for speaking honestly while avoiding unnecessary publicity. Royal biographers have often noted that she values tradition, but also possesses an unwavering sense of fairness, qualities that have made her one of the monarchy's most respected working royals. Reports circulating online suggest that Anne shared William's belief that Diana's contribution to the monarchy should never be forgotten. Although many details remain impossible to verify, these stories describe a relationship built on mutual understanding and shared respect, rather than dramatic planning sessions. Both had witnessed the monarchy evolve through periods of triumph, controversy, and personal loss. According to the narrative now attracting widespread attention, Anne allegedly viewed the restoration of Diana's historical recognition not as an act of revenge, but as an overdue acknowledgement of someone whose impact had permanently shaped the modern royal family. Whether those conversations occurred exactly as described remains uncertain, but they have fueled intense debate among royal followers who continue examining every reported interaction between the family members involved. The reports claim that once every institutional requirement had finally been satisfied, preparations quietly moved forward behind closed doors. Unlike highly publicized royal ceremonies, this event was allegedly handled with remarkable discretion. No major announcements were made, no elaborate media campaign was organized, and very few individuals were reportedly informed beforehand. Supporters of the story argue that this silence was intentional because the significance of the moment required dignity rather than spectacle. According to these accounts, trusted palace staff carefully prepared the historic display, treating every detail with exceptional respect. The portrait, which had supposedly remained out of public view for many years, was said to have been handled with extraordinary care as it was moved into its intended location. Witnesses quoted in various online reports describe an atmosphere filled with quiet reflection rather than celebration. Instead of applause or speeches, there was reportedly a sense that history was finally correcting itself. Those who believe the story argue that the moment represented far more than the placement of artwork. It symbolized recognition, remembrance, and a renewed commitment to honoring one of the monarchy's most influential figures in a manner many supporters had hoped to see for decades. According to the same reports, the emotional impact of seeing Diana's portrait displayed in such a prominent position was immediate for everyone present. Staff members allegedly paused in silence, taking in a scene that many believed should have existed years earlier. Commentators later suggested that the placement carried extraordinary symbolism because it acknowledged Diana not only as a member of the royal family, but as one of the defining personalities of modern British history. Whether every detail can be independently verified or not, the image described in these accounts has resonated strongly with audiences around the world. For millions who admired Diana, the idea of her receiving lasting, impacting institutional recognition represents something far greater than ceremonial protocol. It reflects the belief that compassion, humanity, and service deserve permanent remembrance, regardless of past controversies. Supporters argue that history ultimately remembers individuals through the lives they touched, rather than the conflicts they endured. That perspective explains why Diana continues inspiring documentaries, charitable initiatives, and public discussion nearly 30 years after her death. Even today, new stories connected to her legacy continue generating worldwide interest, proving that her influence extends well beyond royal tradition into the hearts of people across generations. If the reports are accurate, the developments that followed were even more dramatic than the ceremony itself. Word of the alleged restoration reportedly spread quickly through royal circles, creating reactions that observers described as both emotional and deeply revealing. While official confirmation of many claims remains unavailable, numerous commentators interpreted the silence from senior palace figures as significant in its own right. According to the online narrative, the decision represented more than honoring Diana's memory. It reflected a gradual transition toward the values and priorities expected under the monarchy's future leadership. Analysts suggested that William's reported actions demonstrated patience rewarded after decades of restraint, showing how influence within the institution can be exercised through careful respect for tradition rather than confrontation. At the same time, public interest intensified as fresh rumors emerged about how different members of the royal family supposedly responded behind closed doors. Whether fact, speculation, or a mixture of both, these stories have reignited global fascination with Diana's enduring legacy. And as the narrative continues unfolding, the focus now shifts toward the reactions inside the palace, where family relationships, long-standing tensions, and the future direction of the monarchy become impossible to ignore. Although the palace has never officially confirmed many of the dramatic claims surrounding this story, the public response demonstrates just how deeply Princess Diana's memory continues to resonate across the world. Every generation seems to rediscover her story, finding new reasons to admire the compassion, humility, and courage she displayed throughout her life. Royal historians often point out that few individuals have left such a lasting emotional connection with the British people. Long after official ceremonies have ended and headlines have faded, Diana remains the royal figure most associated with empathy and genuine human connection. According to commentators following these recent reports, the alleged recognition of her legacy represents more than correcting history. It symbolizes a renewed appreciation for the values she embodied. Whether viewed as fact or speculation, the story has encouraged millions to reflect on how history remembers remarkable individuals. It has also highlighted an important reality. Public affection cannot be erased by time, protocol, or changing circumstances. The admiration people continue to express for Diana has become part of the monarchy's modern identity, ensuring that her influence will remain present in conversations about the royal family's future for many years to come. Royal observers now believe that the next chapter of the monarchy will be shaped by a careful balance between preserving centuries-old traditions and responding to the expectations of a changing world. Prince William and Princess Catherine have increasingly focused on causes involving mental health, homelessness, environmental protection, and early childhood development, areas that many supporters see as continuing Diana's compassionate approach to public service. Rather than relying solely on ceremonial appearances, the future generation appears committed to creating meaningful social impact through long-term initiatives. This evolution has strengthened public confidence that the monarchy can remain relevant while honoring its historical foundations. The recent narrative surrounding Diana's legacy has therefore become symbolic of something much larger than a single reported event. It reflects the ongoing transition from one royal era to another, where respect for the past meets responsibility for the future. Whether every detail of the story proves accurate or not, it has reignited worldwide interest in the enduring values that Diana represented and the principles many believe will continue guiding the monarchy under its future leadership. As this remarkable story comes to a close, one truth remains impossible to ignore. Princess Diana's legacy has outlived every controversy, every rumor, and every attempt to define her by the challenges she faced. Her greatest achievement was never a royal title or ceremonial position. It was the extraordinary connection she built with ordinary people around the world. That connection continues to inspire compassion, generosity, and hope decades after her passing. If the recent reports surrounding Prince William's actions carry any measure of truth, they represent not a personal victory, but a heartfelt tribute to a mother whose influence shaped both her family and the monarchy itself. History will ultimately decide how these events are remembered, but one lesson is already clear. Genuine kindness leaves a legacy that cannot be hidden, forgotten, or replaced. As the royal family enters a new generation, Diana's spirit of service continues to shine through the work of those who strive to honor her memory. And perhaps that is the most powerful tribute of all, that the people's princess remains, in the hearts of millions, exactly where she has always belonged.